How you doing, everybody? I'm Tony Gaglione,
I'm Shawn Adams.
and this is Smack Talk.
Smack Talk, baby.
Uh, what we're doing today, first off, we're gonna give a little shout out, happy 4th birthday to Las Vegas Informer.
Happy
They are
birthday, Informer.
cool enough to have us on their website every day, which means that just makes the Las Vegas Informer that much more awesome because
makes
Smack
it
Talk
cooler.
is on there.
Yep.
So happy 4th birthday to them. We're gonna go to the lobby bar, Green Valley Ranch tonight, have a couple drinks. Hence
That's what
the
we're.
sweet attire here,
Yep.
looking all fancy. But we're talking World Cup today.
Today's day 8 in the World Cup.
Loving it.
Quite a few good games. I will start out and give myself a little pat on the back. I predicted every single one of the games correctly today.
Not the scoreline.
Not the score lines, but it was pretty close. I predicted one of them exactly. So
I was pretty excited in the first game between Ivory Coast and Colombia. Colombia won the game 2-1. Those of you who didn't see it, I called a 2-2 draw, and Colombia.
I called a 2-1 victory.
You did.
Colombia.
There you go. The 2-2 draw looked very good at the end.
Yeah. It was.
Ivory Coast was pressuring like crazy from the 80th minute on. Colombia with the first
From
two
the
goals,
67th minute on, from the arrival of Didier Drogba.
who should have been in the game the whole time.
Started on the bench,
Yeah.
replaced Wilfred Boney this time. Yeah.
What do you think? Like, okay,
I think Colombia is dangerous, man.
I think Colombia is dangerous, but I think that Ivory Coast manager made a bad move in taking out Boney for Drogba when they could have utilized Drogba as a decoy
Boney,
again,
yeah,
like
yeah.
they used or
Yeah.
like they
Boney
did last
scored his
game.
first goal when Drogba had first come in.
There you go.
Yeah. Two things that I noticed when I watched Colombia. Not only do they look great now, the players that they have are all young.
Mhm.
I mean, they haven't even put in Jackson Martinez, who's 29. You talk about 2018. I say Colombia is a team to watch out for.
Yeah,
You
that and they're playing without their best striker.
Yeah, and I think that helps them because now that I've watched them play, it opens up more. No longer is it funneling into Ramadel Falco. It's spread the ball wide.
They're playing a more team style
More
of soccer.
team style,
Definitely.
They had 11 shots, 8 of them were on target. That's a pretty high accuracy rate. They had 11 fouls to 14 fouls, so we're still even on the fouls. They both had 5 corners, although Ivory Coast look a lot more dangerous on corners. I think
without a
some
doubt.
places that Colombia could improve is their defending on set pieces because there was quite a few saves made by their goalie Ospina on Ivory Coast corners. On their corners, they were pretty much just whipped in. If one of them did fall and was immediately blocked on the guy's shot because it was knocked back out to the edge of the box. He shot, but it was blocked. They didn't look really dangerous on set pieces from the corner. They looked better from free kicks, things like that. The Quintero goal, the substitute goal, actually came off of the run of play after a set piece. Ivory Coast, they went down 2-0 in this game. It was a wide open game in the first half. Then in the second half, Colombia just started out dominating, and eventually they broke through in the 64th minute.
Yeah, and you had 3 goals within 10 minutes time.
3 goals in 10 minutes, yeah.
I mean, it was a fantastic run of play in that 10 minutes from both teams, and then, I mean, Colombia just shut down defensively, and Ivory Coast couldn't get the ball through.
Yeah, the thing, Ivory Coast, even when the first goal happened, they didn't really wake them up. But when they went down 2-0, Gervinho immediately and he's looked excellent in both their games. He's creative. He's making good passes. Him and Serge Aurier or whatever, the left back.
Yeah.
They look like they're probably
Serge.
They're two most dangerous players. However, their defender, their center back Zakora, will miss the next match because he got a yellow card in this game. He got a yellow card in the Japan game, so he will not play in their next match, which could hurt because they don't really have defensive depth, as you know from playing with FIFA.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and I love playing with Ivory Coast. The thing for me is one of my favorite guys to play with on FIFA, Boca. I mean, this guy creates plays all the time.
Yeah, but he's not on the team.
Huh?
Oh no, you're talking about the right back.
The right back that's short.
Midget,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the crossing skills of this guy is pretty darn good. He's creating plays, and he can shoot from distance. I mean, he did it in the first game. I mean, he didn't get really, much in this game, but there was a few crosses that he put in the box. They just couldn't convert.
Another defender, I think Zakoro is probably their strongest link in the center defense, but Bamba, he's another defender that he's like a Vermaelen. He likes to come up fast, and I think that I don't know when they play Greece. I don't know how much that's going to matter. But in the future, if they do go to the knockout stages, somebody like that comes in, and Zakura's always being forced to play the Laurent Koscielny role, the cleanup, because Mertesacker's slow. That could put pressure on the defense. It could open up things because Colombia, they were opening them up quite a bit in the first half. Ivory Coast too. They were. I think Yaya Toure had an excellent free kick range-wise, and he tried to curve it like around the wall, and it like literally went into row 16, seats F and G, to the right of the post. So normally that guy's money, at least on target, from a free kick. But then again, they didn't have Didier Drogba because that would have been perfect Didier Drogba range.
Of course. Yellow cards in the game, 2-0. Zakura's going to miss the next match. Yeah. 55-45 in possession, offsides, 2 for Ivory Coast, 3 for Colombia.
It should have been 4 because the Rodriguez goal.
So Ivory Coast,
play linking up to that should have been flagged for offside, but they didn't. It got, granted they didn't score off it. They passed it back out of the box, and then immediately the goal took place. But you shut that game. You call that flag. You raise that flag as the assistant, and it completely changes that. At least that first goal.
Yeah. So. Before we talk about the group and what's going on in that group, we're going to get on to the second game here between Japan and Greece.
Yeah, it was the late game. There was a game in between, but that was an important game, so we'll talk about that next. Japan-Greece. I predicted this as a 1-1 draw. Tony said Japan wins easily. One thing I brought up yesterday is that I wasn't sure if Japan had the attacking weapons to break down Greece, and the 0-0 draw. Not only the 0-0 draw shows it, but the fact that Greece played 52 minutes with 10 men after a 38th minute captain, Kostas Katsouras, or whatever his last name is. He's the captain.
A Greek guy.
Yeah, a Greek dude. And Japan had 18 shots. They had double the amount of shots Greece did, but only 4 were on target. They had 74% possession.
Well, you have to expect that with the 38th minute red card.
Yeah, but to not be able to get at least a goal.
The sad part that you pointed out earlier was that Japan had 18 shots and Greece had 9 shots, and then both of them had 4 on goal.
4 on target, yeah. And the thing is I watched the game, and Greece, the way they play, in fact, this is why Colombia beat them so bad, is because Greece funnels you to the midfield. They want to make you play through the middle to try to score. Because they're vulnerable out there. Their left back and right back is not too fast. They're not good at coverage. Their midfielders aren't that fast. So they force you to play through the middle by starting out wide, and as soon as you bring it to the middle, they condense around you, kind of like the reverse of a flying V. They kind of start out like this, and then they fold and then condense to keep your passes in the midfield. And Colombia, when they played, Colombia just said, okay, no big deal, pass it back out, and then kick it to the ring, run the byline, and a lot of goals were created coming in the box. Japan did have opportunities to do that, but late in the game, when they know they need to score, they're playing everything through the middle. Everything was going through the middle. And they had one good shot in the 68th minute, and guy just whiffed. He just skied it over the bar. It was one of those Gervinho moments where wide open net. That happened a couple of times today. A few people, Ivory Coast game, not Boney, Simon Kalou. Had a wide open shot. Ozakai had a shot. Okobu had a shot, wide open shots, and they just failed to place them. As so did Sokolopoulos or Socrates. Right? Yeah. He had one too, and his was a header, but he literally all he had to do was just touch the ball with his head.
Yeah.
And it said he tried to power it, and of course it went over. So I was right. Japan, they're hanging on by a thread. So. Let's talk about the round 3.
The game's coming up?
Because this group has pretty much sorted itself out, because the likelihood of what we're going to talk about happening is probably rare.
Slim and none.
Right. So Colombia has already advanced to the knockout stage. They haven't secured first place, but they have secured a place in either first or second. Ivory Coast has 3 points. They won their first game against Japan, but lost this one. They have a 0 goal diff. So what that does is, because Colombia plays Japan and Ivory Coast plays Greece in round 3, this will be 5 days from today. So this will be, next Tuesday or Wednesday. Probably one game Tuesday, one game Wednesday. You know how they've been splitting them up. Greece and Japan both need to win in order to leapfrog Ivory Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about that is, and this is what is kind of crappy for Japan, is that if Greece does beat Japan, if Greece does beat Ivory Coast in their third game, and Japan does manage to meet Colombia, the likelihood is that Greece advances on goals scored because Japan's only scored one.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see Japan putting 3 or 4 past Colombia.
No.
So if they got a 1-0 victory, they've scored 2 in the tournament. And if Greece scores, they're more likely to beat Ivory Coast. They'd have to score at least 2 or more.
Yeah.
Because a 1 goal is not going to be good enough against Ivory Coast.
Me personally, I don't think Japan or Greece is going to beat either of these teams. Ivory Coast just looks too strong, even though Japan did have that 1-goal lead in the first game, which quickly got erased once Drogba came in. And Colombia, they just look powerful right now. Yeah. Let's go into predictions real quick. Colombia versus Japan. Who you got?
I'm going to say Japan wins the game.
Really?
I'm going to say Japan wins the game. I'm going to go with 2-0.
2-0?
2-0 Japan.
All right. I'm calling a 3-0 Colombia win.
Okay, that's a good pick. I'm going out on a limb because I picked Japan as a dark horse to at least make noise. I do see them failing to make it through. Just because they win that game doesn't mean that I think they're going into the knockout stages now. They haven't shown me enough, especially this Greece game, like I said yesterday. The next game, Ivory Coast, Greece. What do you think?
I think Ivory Coast wins the game, but I do think Greece actually scores a goal.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go 3-1 Ivory Coast.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Knowing that Ivory Coast needs 4 goals, I'm gonna say Ivory Coast wins the game 2-0 and fails to capture first place by 1 goal on goal diff.
But still makes it to
knockout. So I've got Colombia, Ivory Coast, which is different because you and I'm
pretty sure when we talked about the groups when we did our World Cup preview,
I had Ivory Coast, Japan
to advance
because I didn't Colombia with no Ramadal Falco. I had no clue.
I had Ivory Coast, Colombia, but I had them flip flop.
Yeah.
From what they are now.
Yeah.
But I also had Greece to come in 3rd and Japan in 4th.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that more because I remember what I picked. I'm sure you remember what you picked. Yeah. So we'll talk about that more as the groups play themselves out later on. Let's get to the game that
mattered the most.
Yeah, unfortunately, it mattered the most.
So just so you know, that's 2 correct predictions for me. This makes it 3. Because I did say it was going to be a 3-1 Uruguay victory with a Suarez hat trick. However, it was 2-1 Uruguay with a Suarez brace. For those of you who don't know soccer, the word brace means 2 goals. Suarez scored in the 39th minute on an excellent Edison Cavani flick. Now, this was the only pass Edison Cavani made to Suarez in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happened to be money. Suarez fakes Joe Hart out by running. He's running one direction. Joe Hart goes that way. He heads it back across goal.
Which seems to be the way to score in this World Cup because everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Even on the near post, you fake the one side, the goalie just lunges towards the open side, and near post bender. There it is.
Yeah.
Like we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But where they were just at.
Yeah, exactly. They've been doing it all World Cup.
Yeah, so in the first half, that was in the 39th minute, and the game was pretty much even at that point. And England, they didn't look flat. Raheem Sterling looked really flat. Danny Welbeck played great, in my opinion, which is surprising to say that. The autistic kid with a puzzle. Uruguay had 10 shots.
Yeah, let's talk about
6 on goal.
How close it was, though.
Yeah.
England
had 13 with 8 on goal.
17 and 12 in fouls.
Yeah.
7-6 in corners. Uruguay with 7. Offsides 3-1. Uruguay offsides a lot.
England
and Suarez.
Yeah.
England had 62% possession. That's not like saying, they had 52 to 48.
No.
62 is a significant difference. And you can't put more than 1 goal up?
Well, I'm going to say this. Their 1 goal that they did score in the 75th minute with the equalizer was Wayne Rooney.
Yippee.
It was his first ever World Cup goal.
Yippee.
He also had a shot in the first half prior to the Suarez goal. A beautiful header that hit the woodwork, the corner.
Yeah.
Hit the corner. If that ball had gone in,
we'd be speaking a whole different story right now.
Because at that point,
it's a 2-2 game.
And England had chances late in the game.
Okay.
But they just, let's talk about the game-winning goal, because Tony and me, we had a little
we had a scuffle
via text while this was going on. We're both watching two different directions. Although Tony's blind, he needs
Wait
glasses.
a second, no. I'm doing ESPN FC replays. Okay, you're watching the game live.
I'm watching it live.
Okay, see, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Every little thing that I hear that comes up on the replay, I'm pressing play. Play. But it doesn't come up as the ESPN feed. It's some weird British feed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a different angle. Yeah. So you don't see Gerrard touch the ball, which Gerrard does touch the ball off the Cavani pass.
No. Okay.
Who passed it?
Muslera, the goalie, kicks a goal kick, and he's targeting Cavani.
Yes.
Deep.
Yeah.
Suarez just has to be. Suarez is doing. If Cavani wins that ball, you got two attackers forward, right? Okay. So Suarez continues his run, and when Cavani and Gerrard jump, the ball goes over Cavani. He doesn't touch it, and it flicks off of Gerrard's back shoulder. But because Suarez was onside when the ball was played forward from Muslera,
it doesn't matter how far he is.
It doesn't matter how far forward he is. It never touched another Uruguayan player.
You could cherry pick. It looks like you're cherry picking the whole time.
It was cherry picking.
It looked bad. Even the announcer that I was listening on ESPN radio, the bald guy with the Scot or British, whatever he is, he's like, he's a yard offside. It shouldn't have counted. I'm like,
no, he was clearly on.
And I'm looking at it, though, on the replay, and from the angle, it looks like it comes off Cavani's head.
It does. But when they showed the goal, I get to watch it from side.
No, yeah, you have to get
the angle
axis.
I saw it when it landed, and Suarez got the ball. I was watching it live, and my boss is an English fan. I'm like, that went off Gerrard. That's a goal. And Suarez puts it in. He buries it. And my boss is like, no, that's offside. I'm like, dude, that went off Gerrard. Because the angle that we were watching, you could see it went over Cavani. But then when they showed a few other angles,
it looks like it came off Cavani's head.
Until they showed the back, the goal back, and then you could clearly see it go past Cavani. So that basically is one thing. You put any other striker there that's not world class. I mean, Rooney counts as world class. There's probably like 10 of these guys. Any other striker there, they're either scuffing that shot, it's getting saved. But when you put a guy like Suarez on one-on-one with Joe Hart, we're going to say Suarez better than Joe Hart.
Yeah. Because Suarez is better than everybody one-on-one.
He didn't just put it past him.
It doesn't matter what goalie's there.
He rifled it past him.
Suarez is in the same category as Messi and Ronaldo, as far as I'm concerned, and Gareth Bale.
Mm-hmm.
Those four guys are the best four in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and look, I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I'm a big Luis Suarez fan.
I'm not a Luis Suarez fan, but I'm a Liverpool fan. Wait, let me lead into this, because you said it earlier. How upset must Steven Gerrard be right now?
Yeah, that he gave away the game.
He gave away the game, and he gave away a Premier League title.
Yeah, I texted Tony. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Liverpool was in first place, and on a crucial weekend when Man City was close in points and Liverpool were playing, a Steven Gerrard slip. He receives the ball, he goes to knock it, to settle it down, and he slips when he does. He kicks it forward, and he basically gives away the goal, because then it's the attacker on Mignolet. The guy scores. So in one move, Gerrard, because at that point they lost the game, Man City won, Gerrard pretty much gave up the Premier League title to Man City. Well, here in this game, because of his shoulder flick, and it was unintentional, he's just fighting for the ball, but because of his shoulder flick, he plays in Suarez, his Liverpool teammate, to win. So I texted Tony, I said, he killed Liverpool's title chances with a slip. He killed England's World Cup hopes with a flick. Nice job, Captain. Because he's a captain for both teams. And I said it when it happened on our show, and I'm going to say it again in as best of a British accent I can in. There are no tissues in the Gerrard household right now. It's just absolutely falling, gentlemen. Falling.
Okay. As disheartening and depressing and terrible as this game was, I have so many excuses for England. Okay? Excuse number one, Roy Hodgson.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that one.
Worst lineup I've ever seen. Best bench. Worst lineup.
Yeah. He started the exact same players as they did versus Italy.
Which they lost to Italy.
They lost. Yeah.
No
changes whatsoever.
They sub in Ross Barkley, who we said should start.
Yeah.
Adam Lallana, who both of us were definitely said should start. And they waited until the 89th minute to bring in Ricky Lambert.
Yeah.
That's excuse number one. Excuse number two. No Ox.
Yeah.
No Theo.
I'll give you the Theo. The Ox thing is.
You don't put in Frank Lampard at any point in the World Cup.
What is going on there, Frankie? That man can
0 minutes.
0 minutes so far. I mean, I'm going to tell you this right now.
It doesn't matter what they do.
No, here's
the
what
whole lineup is better be changed.
If Costa Rica loses, I guarantee you're going to see Wilshere, Lana, Lampard. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Gerrard is center defensive mid by himself, because Jordan Henderson, what is this man doing?
Oh my God!
2 World Cup games.
I can understand if Liverpool's manager was the manager of England, but other than that, there is no reason that Jordan Henderson should be starting in the starting squad.
Okay.
No way.
There were 4 Liverpool players in the lineup today. Now, in the first game, they all played a little bit better. But in this game, all 4 of them didn't play well. Steven Gerrard had a better first half, but of course his little shoulder thing.
No, he had one Liverpool player play well, but he played in Uruguay.
Yeah. Sturridge, skying the ball over, taking shots. Oh, the 5. I'm on 5 Liverpool players. Raheem Sterling. Sterling didn't play well. Henderson didn't play well. And Glenn Johnson. Where's Luke Shaw? Where is Luke Shaw? This kid doesn't have to play on Leighton Baines' side. He can play on this side. Where's Kyle Walker?
Kyle Walker's got speed.
Where are the other
Luke Shaw's got speed, and he's young. Get these old legs off the field. The only old legs that should be there are Gerrard, except for when he gets subbed in for Lampard. That's it. And Ricky Lambert.
I'll say Cahill and Jagielka played a lot better today. Leighton Baines played his heart out.
You know, that, to me, that is the biggest hole in the England team.
What,
Jagielka and Cahill?
Well, they don't have Ferdinand and Terry no more. You talk about old?
Yeah, but I mean,
talk about some mistakes.
Dude, there's got to be other guys that are English that can take the place of these guys. Okay, you can't
Phil Jones, Chris Smalling.
Hey, leave my Man U players alone. First of all, you can't come out fielding the same team that was already a disappointment in the last World Cup.
Right, yep. No. It's not the same team. The 2010 team, Frankie Lampard, you had a different guy. You had Green in goal. You had Rio Ferdinand, John Terry as your back 4.
But Jagielka and Cahill were still on the team.
Oh, yeah, but they were benched. They were sitting on the bench.
They got subbed in.
But England played a lot better in the last World Cup than they have been playing in this World Cup.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Unless they pull some miracle.
Okay, miracle starts like this. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. We're going to get into tomorrow's games because the first one starts out. Italy versus Costa Rica. Okay, Italy's in first place. Costa Rica's in first place. Technically, Costa Rica's ahead on 1 goal diff, right? +2 to +1. They play each other. If Costa Rica gets a win or a draw, England is out.
Yeah.
Okay. If Italy beats Costa Rica, that keeps the door open for England. However, Italy also has to beat Uruguay in the 3rd round, and England has to beat Costa Rica for England to even have a chance at using the goal diff to advance. Because if this is what we're saying. If Italy wins the next 2 games, Costa Rica and Uruguay, they're going to finish with 9 points. And if England beats Costa Rica, you got Uruguay, Costa Rica, and England with 3 points. Well, the first tiebreaker is goal diff.
I need some ibuprofen. This miracle's giving me a headache.
It's a headache because if England is tied on goal diff with Uruguay, they lose because of head-to-head. So they need to have a better goal diff. And right now, Costa Rica's at +2. So Italy, we're hoping for a Mauro Balotelli destruction tomorrow. But I think Costa Rica squeaks out a draw. I'm just going to say it right now. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw for Costa Rica.
Sean's got a 1-1 draw. Honestly, I see it the same way, but just in hopes. I'm going 2-1 with the Andre Pirlo free kick. And if that happens, I will scream.
Okay. The next game, Switzerland-France. This is the marquee matchup. Kind of like
that group.
For the group, yeah. The marquee matchup for the group, kind of like Ivory Coast, Colombia was today. This will determine who gets first place. More than likely determines. There's still a whole another round to go.
Yeah, things are becoming interesting.
But most pundits, even though Switzerland is above France in the coefficient rankings, most pundits have France winning this group. I think that Switzerland is probably going to be a little flat, but I don't think France is able to take advantage of that right away. I'm going to say a 2-0 victory for France, but both those goals come late.
2-0 victory for France. Okay. I'm going to call... I'll go the same, but I'm going to add something. I'm going to say that France has 60% possession or more in the game.
Okay. I'm hoping Giroud starts. I hope they play Giroud alongside Benzema. Because
I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see.
This Switzerland team had trouble with 2 strikers against Ecuador, so I hope that Didier Deschamps is hip to that and they do well. For those of you guys who don't know, I've been telling people ask me all the time at work. I was listening to the beginning of the Uruguay-England game as I went through the drive-thru at In-N-Out Burger, and the kid's taking my order. He's like, "What do you listen to?" I was like, "I listen to World Cup." He's like, "Who do you think's going to be the final?" I was like, "To be honest with you, hopefully it's either Germany or France versus Brazil or Argentina, just so we can get a European team to win in South America in a World Cup." So I've got France making it pretty far. I would love to see a France-Germany semi or an Italy-France final, something like that. But I got France going far. I do think they outmatch Switzerland in this game. I do think they both come out flat. I think, when you have pressure on like this, when you're both expected to advance and then you have to meet each other, you feel out the first 25, 30 minutes of the game, and then you've lost any rhythm. There's a lot of sloppy turnovers, things like that. So, I don't know. We'll see. Switzerland does have the ability to beat France. It's not like Switzerland's just not.
They're not weak. I mean, they have star players,
And this World Cup has shown that anything can happen. Substitute change game.
Yeah, anything can and will usually happen. And, like you said, subs have been scoring a lot of goals.
Sub scored today.
And
Colombia.
one star changes a game.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but, it's not basketball.
No.
It's not a full-on team game. You know what I mean? There's one guy that can just dominate.
Yeah, I disagree with you on that.
Suarez dominated.
Yeah, but he got the ball from Muslera, son. Muslera. Hashtag Muslera sucks. Hashtag Joe Hart sucks.
Yeah, hashtag Muslera sucks because he was terrible in the first game.
He won the game.
He didn't win the game. Suarez won the game.
Who gave him the assist? Who gets the assist?
First of all,
who gets the assist?
Who got the first assist? Not Muslera.
Cavani got the assist.
Okay, and without Luis Suarez,
Uruguay doesn't stand a chance.
Forget it.
Hashtag
Last game. Why you gotta hate on my boy, dude?
Why you gotta hate on my boy, dude? Muslera, baby.
Cause Joe Hart don't bite people, homie.
Suarez is a biter.
Hashtag Mike Tyson. Go ahead.
The game that nobody should watch. Call this.
Yeah.
This is not because of Ecuador.
This has
nothing to do with Ecuador.
I think this is worse than the Iran-Nigeria game.
I hope Ecuador. I hope Ecuador puts up 35 goals. Because Honduras is putting a bad name for CONCACAF. No Palacios in this game because he got a red card in the last game.
So none of their best players.
So that way, so the best player they have. For those of you who don't know, CONCACAF is always looked at in World Cups as like the weakest conference. And that's where America and Mexico come from. Because that's all they say is like it's either America or Mexico, and they're not that hard to beat. Everyone else is garbage. Well, CONCACAF so far is better than Asia right now. They've got a 3-1-1 through 5 games. Costa Rica, United States, Mexico. Mexico had a draw. Honduras had a loss. So the 3 good teams win. Honduras loses. Mexico had a draw. So we're going to see Honduras play their second game against Ecuador. I think Ecuador, after watching them play Switzerland, I think after being heartbroken, I want to say Ecuador wins 3-0.
Yeah. I'll go 1-0 Ecuador. I don't think it's going to be exciting at all.
No.
USA News confirmed today.
Confirmed. I love how it's confirmed. I could have confirmed it.
Yeah, we could have confirmed
the game was
it.
on.
Yeah, while he was falling down.
Yeah.
No
Josie Altidore. Versus Portugal.
Shocking.
Klinsmann says he hopes to have him back at some point in this tournament. And you got to read into that statement because he didn't say some point in the group stage. He says some point in this tournament. Klinsmann is planning on being in the knockout stages.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good sign from a coach. You know what I mean? That's a real good sign from a coach. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, a strained calf is like a tear, but it's not a full-on tear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tear of the, what do they call it, inner muscles?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And plus, it didn't detach from the pelvis.
No, yeah.
It was just a tear.
So, I mean, USA versus Portugal, it's a huge game. I think for Portugal, the only hope that they have is just unleashing Cristiano Ronaldo. And I mean, I don't see anything else besides Nani that's gonna make that big of a difference. As far as the U.S. go, they can't. They have to do what they did against Ghana, which is come out swinging. You know what I mean? They can't sit back and just defend and hope for a counter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's no way they're going to defend against Cristiano Ronaldo for
90 minutes.
Here's the thing. Portugal is like a kitten backed into a corner. Against a pit bull. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen cats fight, because I've personally witnessed this. You'd think that animal is just going to get murdered by the bigger dog. The truth is those cats, they let that dog get close enough and they attack.
And they're going to scratch him in the eye.
And the United States cannot corner Portugal because they got no Fabio Cottrell, no Hugo Almeida. Ronaldo's knocked up. Their goalie's playing like crap, Raul Patricio. U.S. can't. If they come into that game and U.S. starts good and they start landing the shots, that intensity has to stay the whole game. Because the moment it stops, here comes the cat attacking out of the corner.
Yeah,
and that cat is named Cristiano Ronaldo.
And the biggest problem that would happen is if they do come out swinging and nothing goes through Patricio, and then Ronaldo on like 1 or 2 shots gets a goal, it's completely deflating. Yeah. Completely deflating. The confidence goes out the window completely.
I agree with you. I completely agree.
What I think, in place of Altidore, I think we both want to see Wando. We want to see Wando.
Eddie Johnson came out and said it today too.
Yeah, did he? Okay. Well, there you go. We both want to see Wando in place of Aron Johansson. In Altidore's injury.
No knock on Johansson.
No, not at all. No, he's good. He's good. He's good.
We'll see Wando, the Magic Man.
Definitely. Is there any other differences that you want to see in the U.S. squad next
game? I would like to see Jonathan Brooks get the start over Besler.
I agree.
I would think that we should rest. If Klinsmann believes that Besler is better than Brooks as a defender, I believe we need to rest Besler for the Germany game.
He's going to have a lot of work to do in that game.
Yeah. And you talk about work. Fabian Johnson could be tasked with keeping Cristiano Ronaldo locked down,
which is not a good thing.
We're gonna see how good that kid is.
Yeah, well,
see how good that
very
kid is.
Quickly.
Let's go on. Let's talk about the top 3 players of the tournament so far, and we're gonna do this again at the end of round 2, and we'll do it midway through round 3 and at the end of round 3, and then we'll do one about who to watch out for in the knockout stage.
Sure.
So far, who do you got as the top 3, and give me what order?
Okay, number 3, I got Luis Suarez. The only reason he's in my number 3 and not number 1 because I don't know what he would have did in the first game. He could have not showed up.
Would have killed him. Would have killed him.
Maybe.
Would have killed him.
I'm just saying he could have not showed up.
Would have murdered him.
My number 2 is RVP. The only reason my number 2 is RVP is because the number 1 player is kind of stealing the spotlight from him. My number 1 is Arjen Robben.
Yeah.
Fastest player in the world.
Fastest
not
player in the world
anymore.
I know.
Fastest player in the world, Arjen Robben. He's got 3 goals. I believe he's got 2 assists.
I'm about to change my Xbox Live name to Dutch Slave Trade.
I like it. From slave feet quick
to Dutch slave trade, because it's the whole idea of
RVP
and Robben
together.
Dangerous. Dutch.
If I'm not mistaken, we both talked about this in the beginning.
In the beginning, we talked about him. I'm gonna go through my number 3. I got Robben tied with Dempsey. Okay.
I don't see this at all.
Well, okay, here's what I'm saying. Robben is having a great tournament, but this man is Kobe Bryant. This dude, what are you talking about? Pass the ball. I don't pass the ball. I get the ball. I shoot. Okay, that's my only knock on Robben. So when his goals run dry, those shots start to look more and more and more bad. Right now they're going in, so it looks great. Right? He's on fire. What happens in the NBA Jam when your dude cools down? You start bricking shots. You keep shooting with him, trying to get him back. He's not on fire anymore, dude.
The thing is when you're on fire, you hit.
So okay. Now I got him tied with Dempsey because of this. Nothing embodies the American spirit more than scoring in the first 30 seconds of the most important game the United States needed to win to open up the group, and getting your nose broken, staying in the game, and acting like it's no big deal. So I couldn't breathe a little bit. Hopefully I'll be able to breathe for next game.
Understandable.
Okay, so
but you have Robben and Dempsey on the same plane as number 3.
Yeah, because Dempsey is the heart and soul of America. Okay, Robben is not the heart and soul of that Dutch team, is he? He's not.
I think he's the best player in the Dutch team.
But he's not the heart and soul of that team. There are other players around him. The hands-down best player on United States is Clint Dempsey.
Arguably.
Who's better than
Tim Howard?
No, okay, we're not talking goal. I'm talking about the players, outfield players. We're not talking about your goalkeeper, because goalkeeper, we got him beat. Dutch don't have a goalkeeper.
Yeah, Dempsey's the best fielder.
And now the pressure's on him, and he acts like it's no big deal. Altidor's out. No big deal.
Yeah, but Dempsey's like a hippie, dude. He's always been like that. And like you said, when you're talking about captains and stuff, he's not the vocal type. So, I mean, when he got his nose broke, he's like, yeah, a normal guy would be fired up about that. You know what I mean? He even looked... I've never seen Dempsey look angry. In fact, the funniest thing I've ever seen Dempsey do is that face that he did against whatever country they were playing. But he looked... I mean, his eyes were teared up just because he got his nose broke.
Yeah.
But the face was like... He was burning a hole through the Ghana defense with his eyes. It was bad.
If you don't know, if you type in Clint Dempsey and facesofmeth.com, I swear you could take his face, his game face, not his regular, because when he's normal, he looks like a normal dude. But his game face, he's got those eyes. He's just like, he's looking at you the whole time. Yeah. He just doesn't blink. It's impossible to blink on the field. He's like looking at people. People make a mistake on his team. He just looks at them. It's like he's like psychic or something. My number 2 is Karim Benzema.
I don't agree with this.
Because, look, he doesn't get any limelight at Real Madrid. You got Gareth Bale, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Duh.
But when he's on France, he's their best striker. And he proved it. He had a poor man's hat trick in the first game. And I think Benzema is going to look even better against Switzerland. Because this dude has class. Okay, and we're talking about Golden Boot. I'm looking at people going to win the Golden Boot. There's 4 people on my list that have potential for the Golden Boot. I'm ignoring Thomas Mueller. I'm ignoring Thomas Mueller because
Did you say 4 on your list?
Yeah, 4 on my list.
No, don't even dare. I'm sorry. I love Clint Dempsey and I love the U.S. It's not going to happen.
Well, we'll see when
and look, Portugal. Even though I disagree, I love Karim Benzema too. Obviously, I went and bought a Benzema jersey. Yeah. I was in Mexico in Cabo, and I got a Real Madrid jersey.
Oh, you want Ronaldo? Yeah. No, I want Benzema.
Who? They had to Google it to find out how to spell his name and put the number on. Yeah. I saw him on their phones.
Yeah, they didn't know who he was.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he's French. He's a good player. He's got 2 goals already. Should have been 3, but one was ruled an own goal. My number 1 player is Luis Suarez.
I'm going to wonder, like, one day, if you're ever going to get off his nuts.
Never. Ever. I don't care if he bites everybody. He can bite me all he wants. Listen, here's why I got Suarez number 1. Okay, Robin's first game in the World Cup. How many goals did he score?
2.
RVP's first game in the World Cup.
2.
Suarez's first game in the World Cup.
2.
Here's the difference. Suarez came in with a whole bunch more pressure because his team got smoked in the first game, and they were playing England. We're not talking about a Spain team that's limping down the field because nobody else can score. We're talking about England.
I'm pretty sure that my number 2 and 1 both have more goals than Suarez.
Now they've played an extra game.
That's why Suarez is 3.
Yeah, when Suarez played.
If Suarez played the first game and got nothing, would he still be your number 1?
I think if he played that game, he'd have 2 in that game.
I'm just saying, if he got nothing,
he's always
would he still be?
He's
always gonna be your number 1.
He's always my number 1.
Because you just on the Suarez bandwagon.
Oh yeah,
all day. Stroke it, man. Stroke it. Go ahead.
Hold on, see if I can do Suarez face.
Oh god.
His teeth stick out. He looks like a gopher. But he's a good player. He's a good soccer player. He's a lot more dangerous than those 2.
Hell no. Hell no. No. I already called Netherlands to win the cup. Netherlands is going to win.
Okay.
There's nothing anybody can do about it.
All right, so let's make a bet. If it's France Netherlands at any point in the tournament,
yes.
What's the loser got to do?
I don't know.
Shave the opposing team's flag into the back of their head. I mean, it's literally.
How the hell are you going to put a
You fade the bottom.
No.
You light in the middle, and then you get color. And you paint the flag. No. It's red, white, and blue. The same flags are the same. Come on.
Not happening.
Either lines this way in your head or lines this way in the back of my head. Come on.
It's not happening.
Why not? It's friendly. It grows out.
That's ridiculous.
Come on.
No, I don't even know anybody that's good enough to put that in my head.
I can do it.
No way. You let him shave the penis in the back or something.
I might shave a Luis Suarez.
Oh, yeah, that's ridiculous. You got France. I got the Netherlands to win the damn thing. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. This is Shawn Adams.
This is Tony Gaglione.
And this is the 4-year anniversary of Las Vegas and Former.
Hey.
Happy birthday. This is Smack Talk. Catch us tomorrow when we recap the important Italy-Costa Rica game.
Day 9. And many more.